one of the reasons we're going to be talking about Made in Dagenham this evening is partly because you're going to be starring very soon in a stage musical adaptation. And I just wanted to ask you how you came to the film originally, and then also, on from that, how you decided to become involved in the musical adaptation as well.
Well, my first sort of knowledge of the film was I was at Toronto Film Festival with Tamara Drew, and so was Made in Dagenham. And we all sort of went out for dinner together, all the girls from Dagenham, then all of the kind of clan of Tamara Drew, and there was another film as well, and we were all there together. And the Dagenham girls' table was like the most rowdy and fun. And then I thought, well, I'll have to see that. And then I saw it. I just went to the cinema to see it with a girlfriend, and absolutely loved it. And it was totally independent of anything, you know. I paid for the ticket, and it wasn't on a screener, and, you know, it was a proper event for me, and I loved it. I was really moved by it. And then I made a film with Stephen Woolley called Byzantium about like 2 or 3 years later, and he was working on this Made in Dagenham musical, and just sort of said, oh, I've heard you kind of singing on set, and would you think about doing it? And I said, well, I don't know. I was a bit sort of nervous, not having sung much before in public. And then I've sort of, since then, for 2.5 years, we've been workshopping it. And
wow, that's quite a long production time.
Yeah.
Or is that unusual? I'm going to admit I don't know much about how theatre productions come together.
With musicals, you start backwards. I say, you know, with a film, you would usually start with the script, and then the music's the last thing that comes. But actually, the music, well, obviously we had the story, we had the film, and obviously, so that was the backdrop. But the music needed to be the first thing really that we started working on. So that in the workshops, it was all about kind of finding the music, and then the script sort of emerging around that. And now, even now, we're in the rehearsals of the play. The script is finally there, you know, but it's still being workshopped. So yeah, it takes a long time, but it's such an incredible experience, because it's a really different way of working as an actor. Obviously, I knew what the character of Rita was from seeing Sally play her, but it's sort of, I've been reluctant to watch the film again since that time in the cinema. And I even have the DVD still in its wrapping on my bedside table. I have it there, like, looking at me every day, like, do you want to watch me? But I feel weird watching it, because it's sort of become something slightly different. Yeah, it's and actually the composer, David Arnold, is the composer of the film soundtrack, and he's written all the music to the musical.
One of the questions I wanted to ask you actually was about singing, because it's my absolute nightmare. I couldn't imagine singing in front of somebody, let alone an audience. And how much public singing have you done in the past?
Well, now I have a little bit more experience,
yes.
But I hadn't really done anything before. I've always loved singing more than anything, more than acting, more than anything. We always had a musical household and have a lot of musicians in the family. And then loved a bit of karaoke. Sometimes we'd sort of go there, like in the daytime, to one of those booths with just a mate and sing for like 4 hours. That's one of my hobbies. Yeah, so that was the extent of it, really. And then ever since sort of working on Dagenham, I've been sort of working quite hard on getting the singing good. And recently I sang at the Royal Festival Hall, as you do.
Yes.
But that was my first ever public singing outing. Which
was a big engagement for your first, yeah.
It was pretty nerve-wracking. I had a massive full-on orchestra behind me, and David Arnold did something there as well. He's like, yeah, you'll be fine, just do it. I was like, God, it's quite nerve-wracking.
That sounds like him, yeah.
But really thrilling. I loved it, actually, a bit. Singing with a mic like that, yeah. But yeah, so it's quite interesting for me, because Made in Dagenham the musical, the bottom line of it is, it's about really, really grounded, rooted, real women who you know, who stand up for what they think is right and change things. And that is the bottom line of the musical as well. So there's, as much as it is about singing, I mean, there's moments in the film, things that I loved in the film, where they're all together, all the girls together, and they're like, everybody out, and all of that. It feels like a musical.
Yeah.
But we actually do sing.
That's into song. Excellent, excellent. That's an ideal moment.
But yeah, it's still rooted in proper real acting and real storytelling. And that's quite an interesting thing to play as an actor, sort of going between two realities.
Yeah. I understand you met some of the original women who were involved in the strikes in the late 60s at the Ford factory. How was that? Oh,
they're so brilliant. So I've met quite a lot of them. Well, there's not many that are still alive, sadly, but yeah, recently we met effing Eileen, and Vera, and they're just brilliant because they are like Minan or something, you know, really dignified but naughty women. And something that's quite moving is that they didn't realise at the time how important what they were doing was. They said, it wasn't even until we went to Cannes Film Festival that we knew we were even feminists, you know, and we didn't even know. And it's so charming because they're not, you know, political. They just know what's right. And that's what I think is so great about this story. And you know, they loved. It's nice for them, I think, to know that there's been a film and oh God, this little old thing we did, and then it's a film, and it's a musical, and you know. But yeah, they're really good fun and a bit naughty, which is fun.
And I'm always struck at quite how glamorous they are, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not quite the women in the film.
Yeah.
You know, that's a style, that's a production style, but they've got their hairdos.
Oh, yeah. They were, even when I first met them a couple of months back, they went, we might be old, but, you know, we make an effort, and they had their pearls on, and they really do make an effort. And I think that's something about, you know, us now working on the play, musical version. It's so easy to kind of make working class people seem stupid or rough or dirty, and they're not. They're dignified and ladylike, and they said to me, we never would have taken our clothes off. No, we've never taken our clothes off. So, sorry, but they do in the film. But I think we do in the play as well. Sorry, ladies. But, you know, but it's nice. It's refreshing to have a collection of real women in film.
Well, it's actually one of the things I love about the film, that, and it's not too much of a spoiler, is that whole idea of creating that female space where they're completely at ease and just, you know, they're too hot to wear their clothes, so they simply get rid of them. And it's only the late Bob Hoskins' character who comes in and is uncomfortable at seeing it, and it's a really nice exploration of the female space. And
it's really great. Pretty. I think that really touched me, actually, when I saw the movie. I thought, wow, you never see that often in films.
No.
You know, women that are just, you know, these women have lived with each other. They go to work every day. They're like sisters. They might even be related. They probably grew up together, and, you know, this real camaraderie. And it's not sort of, I don't know, it's just very natural. And even when I met the women the other day, they're now in their 80s, and they still go on holidays together. They haven't worked with each other. They retired when they were in their 60s, but they're still very much in each other's lives. And, you know, they're always tapping each other. Oh, shut up. And really, you know, it's lovely, you know. It's genuine friendships and genuine lifestyles. And working in Ford Motors was, as much as it was a hard job, it was also a really good job. They were saying how much fun it was, and there was a lot of dodgy dealings going on inside the factory. Like, people would bring in, you know, knockoff records, and they'd have like little things going on, and, you know, I love that.
What's one of your favourite scenes from the film?
There's two that I remember that really moved me. There's a scene that, ironically, we were rehearsing a version of it today. The Rosamund Pike character and Sally Hawkins' character. Because I love this kind of crossover of class, and how you'll see if you haven't seen the film, Rosamund plays posh, and how, you know, she just sort of easily goes in there and just boosts up Sally's Rita. And it's a really beautiful scene, and all about just women being all one, you know, like we're both all mums, and we're all going through the same thing, and I found that really touching. And then there's another scene at the end where Rita does make a speech, and I was just so moved by that. I remember I was in floods of tears, sort of the bravery and her overcoming her fears and overcoming her class issue, you know, feeling repressed. There's so many things within that final scene at the TUC. And obviously in our musical, that's the big closing number. But I remember clearly being in floods then.
I know that you've rapped on Gemma Bovary. What else can we expect to see you on screen after the musical started? After the musical,
I've got Gemma Bovary, which is film I did, French film, and then I've got a film called The Voices. I think that's coming out in January, and that's brilliant. It's directed by Marjan Satrapi, and is really, really mad, weird. My head gets cut off, and I'm a talking head in a fridge for ages. It's great fun. So I'm excited about those two. I'm really proud of them. And then this musical, which takes up a lot of my life.
And it's opening in October.
Yeah, the previews then.
Yes.
And then really in November.
Excellent.
It's open.
Excellent.
Just so you know. Don't judge. Until November. It'll be good then.
Well, I know you're in quite a respectable rehearsal schedule at the moment, so I think we'll wrap it up here and let everyone watch the film. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you to Gemma Arterton.
Thank you.